De Boer. We continue to Azerbaijan and Mr. Kamal Yafarov from the European Conservatives. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam President. It's very disappointing that even in the very established democracies, law enforcement officers have used excessive force in many cases, violating the principles of necessity, proportionality, precaution, and non-discrimination, notably in the policing peaceful demonstrations and counter-demonstrations, in handling irregular migration flows. The Black Lives Matter movement proved that the excessive use of force by police is not a number of isolated incidents, but a part of pattern in Europe. Rapporteur refers to France that it also faced criticism for excessive use of the police force. Police used the disproportionate force during the 2016 demonstrations, known as the New Debout. Media and the Council of Europe Commissioner for Human Rights reported numerous cases of police violence in the context of the Gilets jaunes movement in 2018. In 2020, the press continued to report incidents of police violence, such as the death of Cédric Chauvat after his arrest by police in Paris. The following example will point to a different pattern of systemic police misbehavior in Europe. In these stations, law enforcement officers exceeded their powers while confining crowds of people who were not protesting. As many commentators observed, these incidents were different because of the discrimination underlying the police conduct. They also include the failure to prevent counter-demonstrations for turning violent, especially protests motivated by racism, xenophobia, antisemitism, nationalism, or homophobia. In every cycle of migrant crisis in Europe, police violence during the crowd control measures become apparent. During the 2015 refugee crisis, while attempting to stop the influx of the migrants, law enforcement in some member states of the Council of Europe pushed back the migrant crowd using special tools indiscriminately. For example, in 2015, many Syrian refugees were sent back by police using the tear gas and water cannons against the women and children. Again, in 2017, migrants living in the Great Jungle of the Calais claimed to have suffered police violence. Greece has reportedly operated secret extrajudicial migrant detention facilities to prevent recurrence of the 2015 migrant crisis. These facts compel us to think and to consider, to consolidate our joint efforts, to provide effective and updated legal infrastructure for prevention and excessive use of force. Therefore, this report rightfully calls the member states of the Council of Europe to review compatibility of their domestic legislation and practices with the relevant international legal principles governing the use of by the law enforcement officers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yafarov. And